crafty friends. It is Courtney Brickner, owner of the Crafty Brick. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have something that I would like to share with you because I think that you really need to know about this. I am using Supacolor transfers. I've got an order that I'm filling for 250 tote bags. So I'm actually using this new metallic color from Supacolor. You can get the metallic color. It doesn't cost any extra for the transfer, and it's just really cool because it gives it that like metallic effect on your design. So I am making these tote bags. Let me just show you how many tote bags I've got. Turn the camera over here. All of these bags are filled with tote bags. They're for a conference, so I've got this tote bag here, and I am going to be applying our Supacolor transfer. I'm actually going to be trying to knock this out today in not too much time, so I'm actually using my Heat Press Nation heat press. I think I'm going to be able to fit 2 at a time on the heat press. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to try it. And I'm also going to be using my handy dandy HTV romp press. So I'm going to be using 2 presses at the same time. I'll just be kind of going back and forth trying to knock this out. But first I just wanted to show you how you do the Supacolor transfers because they're super easy. So how about we get started? I'm going to start my stopwatch after I show you how to do it so we can see how long this order actually takes me to make 250 tote bags. So first we're gonna come over here to the HTV romp press. All right, so for this project, I actually added a pressing pillow to my HTV romp press because I feel like with the HTV romp, sometimes it doesn't apply enough pressure. So if I just add an extra pillow, then that works well because with the Supacolor transfers, you actually need, oops, it was turning off. I had it sitting for too long. You actually need medium to heavy pressure. So I add a little pressing pillow just so that I can make sure that I have that. The transfers come with a little coating on the back. That is the part that you're actually going to stick on to your tote bag. So we'll go ahead and place our tote bag in here. I'm placing it this way so that I can have the little handles laying off of the mat. This seam right here is actually a pretty thin seam, so I'm not going to worry about putting a pressing pillow on the inside. I'm just going to make sure that the handles are outside of the press when it closes so that it's getting even pressure, because if I had the handles, then not the whole design would get even pressure, and then you'd have problems with part of it not sticking. When you order the transfers, they come to you, you just upload the design. So I upload this design to Heat Transfer Warehouse and I can place the order right there. It comes all ready to press when you get it. It comes with this little sticker on it, and actually it's got a QR code so that you can easily order them next time. I ordered the promotional for this one because I'm going to be putting it on these tote bags, and it says the promotional is good for tote bags, nylon bags, umbrellas, and jute bags. It comes, you can order different styles of the Supacolor. They've got hat wear, they've got wearable transfers. There'd be for like your t-shirts, jackets, and pants that you might want to use. So they've got different things depending on what you're pressing on, what material you're pressing on. It comes and it tells you the pressing time and the pressing temp that you need to have and the PSI. So it says 40 PSI, but obviously I can't measure PSI with this press. So it says firm pressure. So I set my heat press to 300 degrees and it says 10 seconds. So I set it to 10 seconds, which is super fast. So let me show you how it works. So first I'm going to do a pre-press, push it in, just press it down, 3 to 4 seconds. I do a little pre-press. Open up my press, and then I place my transfer where I would like it to go. I'm going to cover it. You can use parchment paper or you can use a little Teflon sheet. Place that on top. Close our press. Put it in for 10 seconds. Now, when you take it out, that is the part that I want to really emphasize, that you need to peel it quickly like a Band-Aid. So it comes out of the press, and then we go ahead and we just peel it off really fast. If you take your time, you know, sometimes when you're working with HTV, you peel it just a little slowly so that you can just make sure that it's like sticking correctly on your substrate. With the Supacolor transfers, if you do it really slowly, then you'll see that parts of it are going to peel up and it looks like it's not sticking correctly. If you peel it off like you're peeling a Band-Aid, you know, use a little quickness, and you need to be sure about it. Just peel it off with some confidence and it comes right off. Then what you do is you take your transfer paper, actually not your transfer paper. You might notice that a few of the edges might have peeled up just a teeny bit. Let's see if I can show you. They're really not peeled up, but it looks like it might not be totally pressed down. That it just happens sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time, but every now and then. So just check, make sure everything's good, press down, and you're going to do one more press for a few more seconds, just to kind of set it in place and make sure everything is good to go with your transfer. And then we're finished. And that is how you make a really quick project. You do have to place a minimum order of 10 transfers when you're ordering Supacolor transfers. The more transfers you purchase, the less expensive they become. So when you're doing a big order, like you could get, you know, a lot of these transfers for maybe like $1.50, something like that, depending on how many you're ordering. I think they start maybe at like $3, something like that, if you're just doing maybe 10. But it's just such a cool way to get a project done quickly, and you do not have to do any weeding. That is my favorite part, is there is no weeding. And this has, I mean, not that these are going to be washed, but if you were using the wearable, they have been tested to last over 70 washes. So that is really, really good. And they've tested it and it's proven to last that many washes. So I think Supacolor is super easy, it's super fast, and I really think that you should try them out. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this order with all of these boxes, and I will report back after I finish it all, and I will let you know how long it actually took me, and I'll show you all the bags. So I'm excited to get this order finished. So stay with me and I'll show you how long it takes. All right, I had to pause for a moment because I have a slight problem. I was trying to do both of the bags on the press at the same time, and I thought that I had enough pressure, but when I went to go peel off the design, this is what came off. The entire design came off. This peeled and broke, and then this is like it's just peeled right off. So it's not attached to the paper. It didn't attach to the bag. So I'm like, what the heck just happened? I've actually never had this happen before. So I did a little troubleshooting. So first of all, I removed the tote bag. I'm only gonna do one at a time. And second, I normally when I'm doing tote bags, I am using a pressing pillow because of this seam at the bottom. I tried it out with the HTV Ron and it actually worked, so I didn't need the pillow. But that's not the case with this one. So I do need to put the pressing pillow in. I put it in so that it's bent right there. I've got the pressing pillow within that little flap on the front. So it is making sure that it is all flat. I don't put the pressing pillow in so it's at the back flap. I want it to be flat on the front. I am still going to keep the handles, that seam outside of the press. So let's close it. I've got a lot of pressure on it since I'm using the pressing pillow with the bag. And then, let's see, let me get another transfer. Then I place my transfer on. Oh my gosh, I have never had that happen, that the entire thing just like peeled off and didn't adhere to the bag at all. All right, then we close it again. but I know it was because the pressure was not correct, and I needed a pressing pillow. So that was my problem with this. So now when I go, it peels off just like it did, as it should. Everything came off. It's all in the bag. I was able to peel it off quickly, and then I'll do my second press. And I do that for just a few seconds. And then our bag is good. So I just wanted to show you, the bag is perfect. I just wanted to kind of pause while I'm making this to show you that all presses are not exactly the same. So just because something works out a certain way on my press does not mean that it's going to work exactly the same way on your press. So you're going to have to do some, testing and see what works. So with my HTV Ront, I do not need a pressing pillow. I mean, I had a pressing pillow below it just to increase the pressure, but I did not put a pressing pillow on the inside of my bag, and it worked perfectly. With this press, I do need a pressing pillow, and I think that that's just a little bit different. So depending on which press you have, you might have to use a different method to get your design perfectly on whatever substrate you are working with. So I just wanted to share that with you because, you watch all these videos and you're like, Courtney did it this way and it didn't work for me. It might not work exactly the way it works for you as it does for me. So you have to kind of try out some things. So make sure that you've got an extra tote bag just to try it out, and make sure that the settings are correct, your pressure is correct, your time, because they've got recommended time and pressure settings. Let me show you on the bag. So the recommended press time or press temp is 260 degrees to 320 degrees. That's a big variation. And the press time is 10 seconds. But when you've got that big variation in the temperature and it says firm pressure could be different for all different presses. So you're gonna have to play around with what works best for your heat press and find the settings that are right for you, because obviously you've seen I've got two presses that are working here. We're making the same project, but they're not working exactly the same as the other. So I just want you to know that. That's my disclaimer. You got to get your settings for your press, okay? Now I'm going to get back to my order. Now I know what's going to work on here. I know what's going to work on my HTV Ront, and now we're ready to rock and roll. I'll be back. So I had one that kind of messed up. So I'm just flipping it over onto the back because I actually don't have a backup bag. So we're gonna try and remove this vinyl, see if it can't work out for us. I've used this VLR before on other projects, so we'll see if it works on this one. Ooh, thank you. It does. So you just put it on the back and then you can rub the vinyl off. Actually probably need a little bit more because it should come off really easily. So let's go ahead, flip it over again. Put our little towel in here. Put a little more on the back. And then we will let it soak. And then we will rub it off. And then it will dry and we'll be able to just put the vinyl right on top of it. We'll put the Supacolor right on top of it. So let's let it soak. All right, let it soak a little bit more. This stuff works great. I'm gonna put on my gloves. I don't really want to touch that area. And then there's still a little bit of glue left. So we'll just add a little more VLR, rub it together, and we'll be able to get that out. So let's move this, throw that stuff away. Let's get this part off. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit more VLR on here. And then use my towel to kind of rub the rest of it out. You can even just rub the bag together like this. I'm trying to get that the rest of those little glue areas off. All right, that looks pretty good. And then we will let it dry and apply our Supacolor transfer right on top after it dries. The better option would be to get an extra. I don't know why I didn't get an extra this time. So I worked for 1 hour and 6 minutes and I got, what did I get? 106 bags finished. So I have 4 more boxes to do. I've got 144 more bags. Okay, I have finished making all of the bags. They are all packaged up, except one I wanted to show you. So this is the one that actually got messed up and I had to use the VLR to remove the vinyl. And I just wanted to show you what it looks like. You cannot even tell where the vinyl was. Now, sometimes when you use the VLR, you might still have a little bit of glue left. I think that since I had just put the image on and it really wasn't on very long and I took it off right away, the VLR worked really well. Usually you don't have any residue, but sometimes if something has been on a really long time, you might have a little glue left over and might have a little issue. But usually if you do a little more rubbing, a little bit harder, it will come out. But I just wanted to show you what it looked like. So these are the tote bags. I ended up making 250 of them. And the time that it took me to make them was 2 hours and 39 minutes. 250 bags in 2 hours and 39 minutes. That's less than a minute a bag. Now, granted, I was using 2 heat presses at the same time, so that did cut down the time a little bit, but they really are really fast. So a pre-press for like 3, 4, 5 seconds. Then you've got the actual the actual transfer, and that presses for 10 seconds. Then another press afterwards to just make sure it's all set in place, and that's just a few more seconds also. I ended up doing like 10 seconds because it's so fast back and forth that it was taking me like 10 seconds to place the transfer on, close the press, and then get back over. So a lot of these actually ended up staying on for that second press for about 10 seconds as opposed to like the 3 to 5. But it still worked out just fine. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that helps just give you a better idea of the Supacolor transfers. If you haven't tried them, you should check the link below so that you can order a sample pack and try them out for yourself and see how they work. I love them for large orders. Now, granted, there is a 10 minimum. So if you're only doing like 1 or 2 shirts, it probably doesn't make sense for you to get the transfers. But if you are doing at least 10, and especially if you're doing, 100, 200 orders, you don't want to weed all that. So getting the Supacolor transfer will save you so much time. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so that you don't miss anything crafty. I'm here every week trying to share something with you, and I appreciate you taking your time to spend some of it with me. I will be back next week, and until then, stay crafty, my friends. Bye.